arrived at the ocean carrying 2 years of distance. Not just physical distance, but the kind that settles into your muscles, your breath, the way you move through the world when you've been far from softness for too long. For 2 years, the horizon was buildings, schedules, subways, deadlines disguised as purpose. China taught me discipline. It taught me resilience. It taught me how to exist inside constant motion. But it also taught me how easy it is to forget your own rhythm. So when I stepped into Boisukanga, the first thing I noticed wasn't the view, it was my body. How tense it still was from the car trip. How alert, as if it didn't trust the quiet yet. The ocean didn't rush to welcome me. It just kept moving the way it always has. And somehow, that felt like permission. Here, time behaves differently. It stretches, it slows, it stops demanding explanations. Both decks sway gently, like they are reminding you that balance doesn't have to be rigid. That movement doesn't always mean progress. Sometimes it just means staying afloat. At night, I walk along the beach barefoot. The sand is cool now, but it still holds the memory of the sun. Music spills out of bars, not curated, not polished, just people gathering, laughing, letting the night unfold without trying to control it. I realize how rarely I allow myself to exist without an objective, without optimizing the moment, without wondering how it will translate later. Here, nothing is asking to be productive, and slowly I stop asking myself to be.
As the Chinese New Year arrives, I look back at this transition from 2025 with kinder eyes and attempting to welcome new and refreshing energies. And with time, I realized the role that waterfalls play into that. Something about the flowing of waters and being surrounded by forest.
The air changes before you even see it. Cooler, heavier, alive. Water crashes down with an intensity that feels almost confrontational, unfiltered, unconcerned with being gentle. Standing there soaked, I think about how often I try to manage my life into something orderly, contained, acceptable. But nature doesn't soften itself for comfort. It insists on truth. The water hits my shoulders hard, cold enough to shock me fully into the moment. And for a second, there's nothing else. No past, no future, just sensation. Maybe that's what healing looks like sometimes, not reflection, not understanding, but interruption. New Year's Eve arrived quietly at first. Then suddenly there was food everywhere. Dishes stacked, hands reaching, stories overlapping. There's something deeply grounding about food prepared with intention. Not to impress, not to document, just to nourish. This year asked a lot of me. It tested my patience, my sense of direction, my ability to sit with uncertainty without immediately trying to solve it. So we ate slowly. Each bite felt deliberate, like acknowledging the weight of what's behind me and without letting it follow me forward.
Você tá sendo a estrela desse vídeo, né? De hoje. Você tá bonito. É, ué.
When the fireworks started, we returned to the beach. The sky fractured into light, brief, loud, impossible to hold. People cheered and strangers hugged.
And the arrival of the new was felt collectively, and all of a sudden you find yourself surrounded by wishes and everyone tapping into their own prospects of a new year. Day one starts then, and nothing has really changed other than the way people feel, and there's something magic about that simplicity. The people at the beach in the morning are the same ones as at midnight earlier, and maybe it's the hangover from all of the toast that happened during the fireworks, but people look more present almost. Of course, most of the symbolism of a new year comes from it being a blank slate, right? Or at least that's how most people choose to take it. And as cliche as it sounds, I love the fact that we all just agree that on this one day, you can simply restart, make new decisions, choose new paths. With that, we also moved places and headed to what I think might be my favorite place on earth, and the vibes, as always during Brazilian summer, were immaculate. There's just something about being surrounded by nature that makes time feel a lot less aggressive, like it's no longer chasing me. Like here, everything exists without performance, and I think that's what this place usually teaches me at the start of this year as well, that I don't have to arrive as a finished version of myself, and I don't really need to know exactly who I'm becoming. I don't have to turn my life into a project just filled with milestones. Being here just feels like permission to be in transition, to be uncertain, and to be quiet, to let things unfold without forcing meaning out of every moment. We're so used to starting New Year's with lists, with goals, with pressure to reinvent ourselves, but nature does not reset. It just continues. It sheds, it grows, it rests, it repeats. And somehow that feels more honest than any resolution I've ever made. So instead of asking myself what I want to achieve this year, I'm trying to ask something softer, like how do I want to feel inside my own life? What do I want to pay attention to? What deserves my energy and what can finally be left behind? And standing here, I realize how much of my anxiety comes from trying to control time, right? But nature doesn't hurry again, and still everything arrives exactly where it needs to. Maybe starting a new year isn't about becoming someone new. Maybe it's about remembering parts of myself that I've been too busy to listen to. The part that gets moved by simple things, the part that feels safe in silence, and the part that does not need to explain itself.